So some of us, we go to worship, but spiritually we are at the gate begging because of a lot of things in our lives that have crippled us. For some it might be pain, for some it might be hurt, that you're unable to transcend into true worship and devotion. You're unable to enter into the courts of God and communion with Him because of all the things that you have experienced, and you're no different from this man that sat begging. And so my conviction that time was to pray to God to release me from all the things that are holding me back from worship and communion, so that I may enter into His gates with believers, just like Peter and John. It is a desire of God to be at His temple gates, not to wake up, not to go to church, but only sit at the gates. Again, spiritually, you might be physically in church, but what spiritually, in a spiritual context, you're no different than this beggar who sits at the gate begging for whatever things that he needs. In this case it was money. For you it might be different. We beg for different things, and a lot of things that have crippled us. You find that every time you go to worship, you're unable to worship God in truth and spirit because your heart is speaking a different language. Your heart is begging for something else. In this context, if I just wanted to make that clear, and therefore for you to be elevated to a certain level of worship and communion with God, you ask God to heal you from what has crippled you, what has denied you the opportunity to be so close to God, yet you have zero communion with Him. Yeah, so I think this is a bit, when I got the conviction, it was a bit heavy, but it is necessary for us to understand that when you make these sacrifices to seek God and do all these things for His worship and for His glory, yet you do not attain the purpose in which you're seeking, you do not attain full communion with Him, because you're basically at the gate begging, and that is not His desire for your life. So I guess is just pray to God to heal you of all your wounds, all your traumas, and everything that is preventing you, everything that has crippled you and prevented you from getting into the true communion and true worship with